Hey there YouTube, it's Elizabeth. In this video I'm going to be extending the moss pole of my Baltic Blue right here, and I'm going to show you how I do that. All you need is a new moss pole and some zip ties, and I also got some new baby Lithops, so I'll be potting those up. And then at the end of the video I'm just going to show you some planty updates. So that's what we're going to do today. Come along with me as I do some planty chores. Alright, this is the plant whose moss pole I will be extending today. This is an Epipremnum pinnatum Baltic Blue, and as you can see it has grown right up to the very top of the moss pole and it is ready for a moss pole extension. I've had this plant for maybe 8 or 10 months now, and at first I had it wrapped around and around and around a cocoa coir pole, and it wasn't really doing much for me in the way of giving me big leaves or fenestrated leaves. And with a cocoa coir pole, the aerial roots cannot grow into the cocoa coir itself. And so I switched it out to a moss pole, and it has done amazing things in the past just like 1 or 2 months since growing up the moss pole. The leaves have increased in size and it has grown so fast. There was a slight period of adjustment when the plant had to get used to the new substrate, because I switched out the substrate for like a chunky aeroid mix, because before it was just in like a general all-purpose soil. And it had to get used to the new moss pole. So it went through a period of adjustment where it gave me kind of small deformed leaves, but that quickly went away and the leaves have gotten a lot bigger and it has grown really quickly. Right, Newman? So it is time for a moss pole extension. I have made a new moss pole. Trying to make sure the moss doesn't fall at the bottom, but there's the new moss pole I will be putting on top. I have not done a video on how I make my moss poles. If you need a resource, may I direct you to the video channel of Sydney Plant Guy. He is an amazing resource. I learned what I know about moss poles from him. Again, his name is Sydney Plant Guy. He's here on YouTube. And he has a lot of resources on how to make moss poles and how to grow your plants up moss poles. Now when he does a moss pole extension, he puts a pole up the back of his moss poles as a way to stabilize them. I find that I don't need one, so I'm going to show you how to do a moss pole extension without the use of a stabilizing pole. I just use zip ties and it works fine. I've done it with 2 or 3 other plants and it's worked fine for me, so yeah, that's what we're going to do today. Okay, I really hope this isn't going to be too dark, but I have the refrigerator as a white background, and I just have the plant up on a chair. Here's my other moss pole. As you can see, I have not closed the back of it all the way down. I've left it open, and I'm just going to slip it over the moss pole here. I've made sure that both moss poles are the same diameter, and I'm just going to slide it down until the moss meets up to the moss that's on the top. And I'm going to go around to the front and make sure these leaves don't get stuck. Okay, oops, don't get stuck, little leaf. Here, let me pull these leaves out. There, that stands up on its own very well. It's nice and straight, so I'm just going to zip tie it in place. Yeah, so I'm just going to place a bunch of zip ties. I'm going to close up the back seam of this moss pole. And then where the two moss poles meet, I'm just going to use zip ties to connect the two. So it doesn't really matter where you put them. I just want to make sure the zip tie goes through both sets of moss poles. And I think I'll just do 2 zip ties on each side. A lot of what is holding this together is just friction. So again, that's why I don't really feel like the support pole is necessary, but you know, you can always add it in. I'm sure there's a reason why some people add it in. I'm just going to pull this to tighten it a little bit. And do one more. Okay. Now I don't know how well you can see, but I have all these sharp edges of the moss pole sticking out, so I think I'm just going to take some wire cutters and cut them off. Let me cut this zip tie. Okay, there she is, all done. Actually, not all done. I have to cut off the zip ties, and then she'll be all done. Okay, that's very secure. I'm very happy with that. So here it is in its new location. I put it next to my Monsteras just so that it's with the other plants that have the tall poles. So here she is with her tall pole now. And I didn't make it as tall as it could be. I left a little space on the top just so I could reach and be able to put the water bottle on top to be able to water it. Let me show you up close. I really hope it wasn't too dark, but you can see it's overlapping here. And then let me turn it around and you can see the back. It is very sturdy. You can see like the zip ties here, here, and the gap kind of forms so that it can wrap around the other moss pole. And then I just put a couple zip ties here and here, and here and here, so in kind of random places. Maybe next time I show you the lighting will be better. But I'm really happy with how that went. I'm always a little bit nervous when I start a project like that. I always think it's going to be harder, and then once I do it, it ends up being pretty easy. So don't be afraid to try it on your own. You'll find that you definitely gain confidence the more you try it. But I'm really happy with how that worked out, and now it'll be pretty happy to keep climbing that pole. I will eventually have to put this grow light, I'll have to mount it from a shelf from up here. Otherwise, there's no way I'm going to be able to light up the plant as it's growing up here. So I will have to move that light eventually. All right, so that's that project done. Let's move on to the next. So this is what we're working with here. These are the Lithops here. They're doing very well as far as what I can tell. And then these two are the Pleospilosnellii. This one is called Royal Flush because it's purple. And the third one has died. I showed you in the last video. It got stem rot and I had to take it out. It was pretty disgusting. But it's pretty much a miracle that these two are still alive. And I am not 100% sure that they are going to make it. They're very like top heavy. Both of them are. They just kind of flop over, but they're not mushy. So what I'm going to do is I got my Lithops in the mail that I ordered from Etsy. I ordered 10 of them. And I was not counting on these two surviving, and I was just going to fill this whole thing up with Lithops. But because these two are alive, I'm going to see how many I can fit in here. And I'm thinking maybe I could just take these two out and just put them in another pot. And I have some tiny pots and just kind of see how they do and if they grow. Because I don't want to throw them away. That's just wasteful. So maybe I'll do that. But let me open up this box. I want to show you guys the Lithops that I got. Took a while to get here, so I hope they're okay. Oh, I bet they're in here. Yeah, that's empty. Okay, here you go, Newman. You can play with that box. So they're just tucked in this little napkin here. Okay. Ooh, here they are. Oh my goodness. Okay. Okay, I hope you can see that okay. I've kind of tilted the camera and zoomed in. Oh, these are just little babies. They're very cute. Look how cute they are. Okay, there's some... Oh, Newman. That one's like pink on the outside and green on the inside. That's cool. There's one. Okay, so you get the idea. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, I got 11. Oh, that's nice. She sent me an extra. So maybe they will all fit in here because they are pretty tiny. They are just babies. And I did know that when I bought that. I knew they would be pretty tiny. Anyway, let's get to repotting. I guess I'll dump as much soil out as I can and then just replace it with these little baby Lithops. Like, I can stick one there. Let me go get some soil. I'm going to use peat moss for the soil, only because so I have a lot of peat moss, and that's because I ordered it when I first started doing moss pulls, thinking that it was sphagnum moss because it was called sphagnum peat moss. And I bought a whole bunch of it thinking it was sphagnum moss when it was really peat moss. So that's why I have a whole bunch of peat moss. Okay, so there's 2. 1, 2. And I have 11, so let me see what else will fit. Let me take out some of this potting mix. I'm going to get a spoon. Okay. This is actually kind of tricky because they're so small. But yeah, I'll be able to fit all of them. This is good. Oh, I didn't see that one there. Quit falling over. The thing is, I'm going to want to water these, but I don't want my Pleospilus nellii to get root rot, so maybe I'll just mist them. I think I'll just mist them so they only get a tiny bit of water. That leaf wants to come off. Okay, now they're all kind of buried in peat moss. Maybe I could use a brush to kind of brush off the soil from the surface. Like, oh, that one's hidden down in there. What's that? I don't know. Like, this one's hidden. Get out. Don't be hiding. Oh, he's sideways. Let me repot him. Get in there. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, they're all facing up, and they're all, and none of them are hiding, so that's good. I hope you were able to see that, but here they are. But let me give it a mist. I just have my mister here, and I'm just going to mist them into place. That way nothing is getting too much water. And I'm going to mist these ones as well. Good. Let me move it into some better lighting so you can see. Okay, I've actually put it on my stove where I have a nice bright light. And you can see, look how cute they are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. That one's kind of covered up in dirt. There. 11. Alright, I will put this back on my shelf. Now these require direct sun from what I've read, but mine only get indirect sun. But they're gonna have to deal with it. They do get direct sun for a few minutes during the day. It is an east-facing window, but you can see there's a house over there and there's a big tree over there, so pretty much all the sun is blocked. But I have my succulents here and my cactus back there, so these, it's like the best light in the house. By best, I mean brightest. So it'll have to do. Let me actually turn it so they face the sun better. And I hope they survive. I will definitely keep you guys updated. But yeah, there they are, my little lithops. Before I go, I just want to show you some planty updates. Look at this new leaf on my standleyana. Check out that variegation. I'm so happy with that. It's so beautiful. 3 big variegation segments. Wow, I haven't gotten that on this plant at all. I have gotten some segmental variegation. Segmental? Is that the right word? Ooh, let me get down off the chair. Chunky variegation right there. I've showed you this before. right there, but 3 big segments. Wow, that is special. So I'm so happy with that. My dubia is increasing in leaf size. Like, look how little that leaf is, and then big, bigger, biggest. So that's super exciting to see. I want to show you my snake plant propagation that I've had for probably 10 months, and it hasn't done a single thing until about a week ago. It has little baby roots on it. That is crazy. I am just over the moon with this. I cannot believe that this has been propagating for 10 months without doing a single thing, and it actually did something. So that's crazy. So even if it doesn't form an actual plant, I'm just happy that it finally did something. I'm almost speechless. It is almost unbelievable that it has been dormant for so long, and then out pops a couple roots. How crazy is that? My splendid philodendron has this new leaf that just hardened off, and it's so much bigger than the previous leaf. So that's exciting to see that it's headed in the right direction as far as size is concerned, and it's so beautiful and velvety and just like almost perfect. Look how the light reflects off of it. It's so pretty. Wow, I love it. I got this plant from a seller off of Facebook, and this was the newest leaf at the time, and it's given me this leaf and then this leaf. So I'm super excited to see what this plant does. It has rooted into the moss pole, so it's doing very well. And then lastly, I'm super excited. The newest leaf on my Rhaphidophora decursiva has unfurled, and it is beautiful. I've showed you this plant a lot, but it did absolutely nothing all winter except grow nodes and no leaves, and now finally it's grown me a leaf, and it has another leaf on the way from the other growing point. So I'm so excited to see what this plant does. I moved it to where my Baltic blue Epipremnum pinnatum used to be. But anyway, that's going to be the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed that, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.